Dan, what do you think about the new Justice League versus Fatal 5 animated film?
The what?
You know, where Starboy comes back to the 21st century to help the Justice League against the villains of the Legion of Superheroes?
Star who and the Legion of what now?
Starboy. Tom Caller, you know, gravity powers, has schizophrenia, becomes Starman for the Justice Society. And, you know, the superheroes from the far-flung future.
Yeah, all right. Who's in the Justice League in this one?
We got the Big Three and Mr. Terrific, you know, Justice Society.
Oh, yeah, the dude with the balls. Neat.
Miss Martian.
Hello, Megan. Love it.
And Jessica Cruz.
Who dat?
Green Lantern.
Oh, you mean Hal Jordan?
Jessica Cruz.
Guy Gardner.
No.
John Stewart?
No.
Kyle Rayner.
No, Dan.
Simon Baz.
No, but he is her partner.
Oh, yeah, her. The new Tea Lantern from that new Young Justice team.
No, Dan. Jess Cruz.
Okay, well, what is she even doing in this film?
So I heard in the movie that... What was that?
Oh, crap. We woke up the spoiler beast.
Oh, God, why is it opening its mouth like that?
And so, the brothers were sucked up and devoured by the beast for almost spoiling the plot of the film before release. Hi, I'm Mike, and you may remember me from my other roles, such as the priest from the Green Lantern issue or as Man from Brooklyn in the Nightwing issue. I'm here today to tell you the moral of this story. Don't spoil anything about a film until at least 2 weeks after its release. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.
And welcome back to Super Sons, the DC podcast where we like to make the universe a little more accessible. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good today. This is my first day on spring break, and I get to talk about Starman.
Spring break. Yeah. Do we have any updates on the DC universe before we start?
Well,
or do you have any?
Well, today we get to talk. We're going to be talking about two characters, so I think we should talk about, well, what you heard in the cold open. There's a new animated film coming out from Bruce Timm, and that is Justice League versus the Fatal 5.
Yeah, and it looks like it's the same. I don't want to say it's the same universe as the Justice League and all that stuff, but it looks just like it. Like it's the same league, actors, and all that stuff.
Yet, for some reason, Tom Caller is known as Thomas Caller. You just
what did you say?
You just made like a noise.
My recording volume keeps going back up when I put it down. Yeah, it went back up again, you little shit. Okay.
That's staying in.
Yeah, I'm not cutting that out. I don't cut anything. Mike cuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I also got cleared to record at my kitchen table instead of recording at my nightstand in my bedroom. So it's awesome because having to, like, hunch over a nightstand is not fun.
Yeah, my normal recording table for when I'm home is covered in puzzle pieces.
Why? Who's doing a puzzle?
Sophia and Frank.
So where are you recording?
I moved everything.
Right onto the floor.
I thought about it. Because she refused to move anything when I asked her to.
Yeah, toss that shit on the floor.
Yeah, no. I just
moved.
They had it all organized, so I just moved all their organized piles into very specific parts of the table, because this is a big table.
Very specific parts of the floor. Yeah, so...
into the trash can.
The team for that actually is including two characters who don't normally get the spotlight. One is not old. She was made in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years. And then a character who doesn't really get the spotlight in recent years because he's a part of the Legion of Superheroes who have been put by the wayside.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think there was other reasons why he was brought in other than this storyline, because he does stay in the society for a while.
Yeah, and both of these characters, I think it was in like the behind the scenes stuff. They're going to be dealing with their own mental illnesses, which both have. And
I think
it's a part of their character.
I think we should address at least what in comic books they have.
Yeah.
Before we act, because we're also going to give you guys little summaries of the characters because they're not too well known.
Yeah, and we both love these characters. We can get more into that when we do their summaries. But Jess Cruz deals with some severe anxiety issues and a bit of PTSD after some traumatic events. We'll go over her in her summary.
And Starboy / Starman Tom Caller, he suffers from schizophrenia.
Yeah, but neither is handled in like a joking manner. They're both handled very tastefully in their respective comics, which is good because some depictions of mental illness are real shitty.
Especially for schizophrenia, which is very hard to depict, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a hard thing to depict.
I mean, there are times where Tom Caller, it'll seem like he's making some sort of being joked about lightly, but he always, if you actually look at what he says and you look at the broader stories, he always has a very specific reason for everything he says.
Mm-hmm. And he just can't articulate what he's trying to get across.
Yeah, but he's also, as certain character files from Jim Shooter have said, he's not the brightest person.
Yeah,
even when he's medicated.
Yeah,
properly.
Jim Shooter is something else.
Oh God, those whoever sent those to you.
It was on the DC Discord, but Jim Shooter, real horny over the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah,
but
it was a lot.
He did write his first issue of that when he was 13. Did you know that?
I didn't know that until you told me about that the other day.
Yeah, Jim Shooter.
It does explain a lot of those character bios he gave.
But he is a very interesting man, and he caused some problems for both teams.
Both teams.
Yeah. He was also he's super, super tall. Just something else I know about Jim Shooter.
Wait. How tall is really tall? Because people could argue that you're really tall.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I am. His Wikipedia doesn't list his height.
Hold on. I'm looking it up. Yeah, this is such good content, guys. Such good content.
Welcome to the Super Sons podcast, where we talk about how tall Jim Shooter was. I really want to know now. All right. I mean, we'll figure it out. Once we figure it out, we'll let you know.
I don't know. Looking at these pictures, looking at a picture of him with 4 other people.
6'7".
Because these guys are clearly not short either.
Okay, sorry. Jim Shooter is 6'7", if anyone else wanted to know. So let's get on to our first story today. Oh, other update. Watch Doom Patrol. Watch Doom Patrol. Watch Doom Patrol.
What'd you say?
Watch Doom Patrol. One more time? Do you want it again?
No, I think I got it.
Okay, just making sure. It's fan-fucking-tastic. All right. Let's get on to the stories. Jim Suter 6-7.
Oh God.
Hey, thanks for listening. Jake, do you want to tell us a little bit about Starman before we get into it?
Yeah, to be specific, this is the pre-Zero Hour version of the character, and I'm not going to get into what 0 Hour is because that's a lot. But he's from the 30th and 31st century team known as the Legion of Superheroes, which was founded because of the various people from various planets, all because of the example set by Earth's first immigrant superhero, Superman. And Tom Kaller is from the human colonized planet of Xanthu, a planet that is perfect for astronomers, such as his parents, and is very fitting for his code name. He learned that he had powers by accident as a small child, and how he learned that is by using his powers on his parents' orbiting home, which made it so heavy that it fell out of orbit, crashing into the planet, so they had to escape. And then later on, he gained some other powers that eventually went away because of... He gained powers from a comet that gave him all the powers of Superman, and for the longest time, for a time, he was the strongest member of the Legion of Superheroes. And eventually, he falls in love with a fellow Legionnaire, Dream Girl, but he also gets they both get kicked out for, I think it was her first mission, because she sends him to a planet where he then loses those Superman-like powers, and then is... in self-defense is forced to kill Dream Girl's ex-boyfriend, where I wrote his name down somewhere. Ken's Nahor? Or Nor? And,
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, that was not in my notes. That was in the episode, the story notes. But, for today's story and for other stories after this, he came back in time along with other Legionnaires to do things, but along the way he ended up going to Earth 22, which is more commonly known for the storyline of Kingdom Come.
We will get into Kingdom Come one day. It's a big, sad story.
Which is so good. But also, and when he does finally make it to the present, he doesn't have access to the medicine of the 31st century, so he ends up having to deal with his schizophrenia, which he hadn't really dealt with since he was a child. But he also has to deal with the PTSD of Kingdom Come and other time travel related and multiversal related things that make his mental state deteriorate. But that doesn't stop him from heroics, because he joins the Justice Society of America, and when he's not on that team, he's either saving Opal City, which really isn't depicted other than it being said, and when he's not doing that, he's getting treatment from the Sunshine Sanitarium. He also has one of the coolest costumes of all time. Anything to say, Dan?
No, I don't have much to add. He's just like a wholesome, good character. He's just super nice the entire time you see him. Like, I don't think there's anything in the opposite direction. And I wish there was more of him to read, just because he's so good.
Yes, I after reading through the whole Justice Society of America run, I really fell in love with this character. I really fell in love with this character when we first got into comics, because I've said this before, I read Kingdom Come when I was really young, and I also have the Justice Society of America poster drawn by which is done by Alex Ross, which he's on it. And I just love the Justice Society. But he's got one of the coolest costumes, and I was like 11. I was reading this series as it was coming out.
Have we ever who the Justice Society of America is?
Oh, I can do that really quick. They are the first superhero team created, and they were created by Gardner Fox, who created Jay Garrick and Barry Allen, and along with a million other characters, like the original Starman.
Yeah, so basically the JSA is the original Justice League. Eventually they got moved over to Earth 2 in... Which crisis was that? No, it wasn't a crisis. It was when they relaunched.
It was when... actually, it was when Gardner Fox created characters like Barry Allen.
Yeah, and they added them to Earth 2. Basically, it's the older Justice... Like, they're
it's the Golden Age team. You really only saw them in actually Justice League comics for... Such as... hold on. Crisis on Earth 3 and Crisis on Earth 1.
So, the story we're covering today is the Justice League of America / Justice Society of America, the Lightning Saga. Jake, I'll cover the names. Writer, Brad Meltzer and Jeff Johns. Pencils by Shane Davis, Fernando Pasern.
Wait, hold on. Who was that second writer?
Jeff Johns.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Jeff Johns podcast.
No, it's the Jim Shooter's Height podcast.
Okay, get back. I think you left the Dale.
I'm going to go back. Pencils, Shane Davis, Fernando Pasern, Dale Eaglesan, Ed Benz, and Rodney Ramos. Inks by Ed Benz, Matt Baining, and Rue Jose. Colorists, Jeremy Cox and Alex Sinclair, and letterer, Rob Lay.
And if we got any of those wrong, or if I wrote any of them wrong...
We're sorry.
We're sorry. There's a lot of things going on.
All right. And Jake, take it away.
Okay. And this JSA JLA team up starts with joint exercises between the teams as Batman and Black Lightning are trying to figure out who this new villain Trident is, who kind of just landed on Earth just appeared one day early on, and they found him with a little star on his neck. But surprise, it's Karate Kid of the Legion of Superheroes, the main superhero team of the far-flung future. And after fighting what was pretty much a losing battle for Batman and a little surprise attack from Black Lightning, they managed to subdue him, and then they call in someone else who they believe is considered a Legionnaire, even though they don't really believe him because, of course, he does have his mental issues. Starman of the JSA, because, of course, he's the only one they can think of that can help. And they bring him in, and Karate Kid, who is still claiming that he doesn't know who Karate Kid is and that he's Trident, is then confronted with Starman, who says, in Interlac, which is the future language for the... Oh, God, I can't remember what the coalition of planets is called. It's like United Planets or something.
Yeah, I didn't know that was anything. I just thought that was just some drawings. TBH.
Yeah, it's the language known as Interlac. And that knocks Karate Kid out, but it starts bringing up more questions for our present-day heroes. And the team finds out that these two aren't the only ones that are stuck in the present. There are 5 others. And some of these other Legionnaires are in danger, and they need to get help. So our 2 teams break up, mix and match into smaller teams after they pinpoint locations by looking at by tracing all the Legionnaire flight rings, or which I should explain is made out of nth metal, so it gives a little bit of a force field, it makes them a little stronger, and it gives them the ability of flight. This material is mainly known for how Hawkman and Hawkgirl do everything they do. So, Batman leads a team consisting of Geoforce, Starman, and Sandman to Arkham Asylum to save the love of Starman's life, Dream Girl, a Legionnaire whose powers are precognitive and deal with dreams, much like Sandman's. This is where one of my favorite panels comes in, where pages comes in where Geoforce comments how he has similar powers to both Sandman and Starman, and then Starman says he smells like mud.
Sandman's my favorite JSA member. I'm literally sitting in front of a stack of Sandman comics I just bought.
Oh, you found?
Yeah, I got.
Well, this
Sandman
isn't
Mystery
the same
Theater.
Sandman. This is that Sandman's sidekick.
Yeah.
Sandy the Golden
sorry.
Boy. But okay. And she's being held in Arkham Asylum. I don't know why I wanted to say Arkham Society.
There's no society there.
You don't know. I don't know. Actually, we probably do know. There's not. But she's being held by Dr. Destiny, a dream-based villain who he then makes our heroes fight the nightmares of the patients of the asylum, which you bet your ass is all these different versions of Batman.
Yeah, it's a lot of Batman.
Yeah,
and it's references to all different Batman.
It's not like, it's not all the same Batman. It's like Dark Knight Returns Batman. So many different ones. And then Starman he just kind of gets like a realization that she's behind she's in this certain direction, behind this certain wall. He breaks into the wall and he finds her chained to a wall with Dr. Destiny being all creepy.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah, it's just kind of
move on.
Yeah, it's just disturbing. It's not too far, but it's just not. It's uncomfortable. And he decides he needs to help her, but Dr. Destiny then uses his powers to create an illusion, which is kind of physical. Of Ken's Nahor, as I mentioned, is the person that Starman accidentally killed in self-defense. But as he's doing that, he remembers that he can use the code word to wake her up, so he says it. And Dreamgirl kicks Dr. Destiny's ass. She smashes him against the wall, and his illusion of his persona of Dr. Destiny crumbles. I thought that was a cool
yeah, it's cool because his costume falls apart and he's just a sad man.
Yeah. And Starman's not seeing that image very well because, of course, why would anyone want to see the man they killed? And he's like, Legionnaires don't kill. And he was begging that to. There's a lot. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, basically the entire premise is they don't kill, and he had to, but they forgive him for it. They understand, but he doesn't forgive himself.
After they did kick him out for it.
Yikes!
After and he had to join for a time. He joined the Legion of Substitute Heroes.
Okay, well, let's just keep going.
Yeah, sorry about that. That just is my knowledge, but. Upon seeing him like that, Dreamgirl comforts him, and he gets a little better, but he's not all right because he knows that's because of what's going to happen. Someone's going to die because she showed him something before all of this went down. And then it cuts to Superman's team of Stargirl, Cyclone, and Red Tornado as they go to the Fortress of Solitude to look over the statues of the Legionnaires that the Legion gave him as a parting gift on his last mission with them when he was, I don't know if it was a Superboy thing or it was a Superman thing, but I digress. And he looks at them all, and one of them turns out to be the real Wildfire. And he was just stuck in stasis, and as that happens, a version of Batman's utility belt comes out of his chest, and as he wakes up and he falls to the ground. And then in Gorilla City, Jay Garrick, the original Flash, leads his team of Hal Jordan, Vixen, and Wildcat, but not Ted Grant, but this is his werecat son, Tommy, and finding Timberwolf, who has been hanging out with the talking gorillas riding raptors.
Hey, wait, pause for 1 second. Yo, fuck Hawkman.
Oh, God. I paused for that. Dan. That's not even to that part yet.
I want a Hawkman fan to come after me and tell me something I should read that makes me not hate him, because he sucks.
I legit paused for that. See, Dan, you're gonna piss off Rhett from Rhett and Link.
Whatever, fuck Rhett.
Dan,
fuck Hawkman.
Dan, don't say that. Dan, don't say that.
Whatever, keep going. Sorry. Hate Hawkman.
On Thanagar, Power Girl leads Hawk's man and girl, and Red Arrow in looking for Dawnstar, the winged heroine of the Legion, only to learn that their flight full of romantic drama was pointless because she was already on Earth. And the Legion, mostly reunited already, realizes they have enough people, but they're gonna keep looking. They all take lightning rods that were disguised as parts of the Batman utility belt. I just want to talk about why the fuck the utility belt came out of Wildfire. There's no real reason for that.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like kind of popped out of him like he was a portal. Could you imagine, like, you're like trying to get milk out of the fridge and Batman's utility belt pops out? Like shit.
Like, he was already pissed off that he had to be in stasis. But he's always pissed off. He's already stuck in that his suit.
He reminded me of a human bomb.
Yeah, he's kind of. But there's also a weird thing in this which I don't really understand. I really didn't really like flick for me about him, because eventually later on they Red Tornado says something about him being in his body.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but
all right,
back to what I was saying. So they head off with their little lightning rods on their mysterious mission to save the future.
Yeah, it's got a little lightning rods. It's going to save the future.
Yeah, little lightning rods. The JLA and the JSA are trying to figure out why they left, but people were watching them as they had their lightning rods. So Superman decides to tell them what exactly they've used the lightning rods before, and that was to revive Lightning Lad after he had died on a mission, which is probably why in Interlac they've all been saying Lightning Lad's name. Elsewhere, the Legion discusses Starman, who's now maskless and being called Starboy again, and they're trying to figure out, some of them are trying to figure out why he's not acting like himself. And it turns out that it turns out that only Dreamgirl and Wildfire really had any idea that he had schizophrenia. Like, there is another comic where this is referenced of them not knowing with Lightning Lad, and Lightning Lad's like, "Why is he in a nut house?" And then Batman's like, "They still discriminate against the mentally ill in your time." And then Lightning Lad's like, "They discriminate against everyone." It's actually very sad. If you actually go in and read Legion of Superheroes at this time, it's a lot of it is about fighting discrimination.
Yeah, it's why I feel like it kind of gets compared to the X-Men a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how much of that was present in the past, but in most of the ones that were written by Jeff Johns, that is a recurring theme. And like Earth supremacy, which, white supremacists.
Yeah. All right, continue.
Yeah, but he didn't. It turns out that they realize, oh yeah, he didn't come directly to this time, because at this point they don't realize that he was sent there for a different mission. And Dawnstar says his path didn't come directly here. It looks like he had a multiversal trip, and he's like, oh, you mean Earth 22? Yeah, no one liked anybody else there, because in Kingdom Come there's a giant civil war. But and she states that that's probably why his mental state has deteriorated so much further. But Tom, that's not going to stop Tom from being a hero. But as they're going through, they're going to the Legion of Doom's old HQ. You know, the big, like, head in the swamp.
Yeah, I still don't understand what the fuck that thing is.
It's like it's kind of like it's like a skull, but it's also kind of like a mushroom.
Yeah, I think it's in the Snyder JLA, the Justice League book he's writing right now. But
you mean the one with Jarro?
Yeah, with Jarro.
Yeah. What if Jarro was the Starro that was on Karate Kid that made him think that he was Trident? Deep-seated conspiracy now. That's where we're going with this. 6'7" is a really tall height.
Bringing it back. All right, continue. Let's finish this story.
Yeah. Anyway, so that doesn't. So they go there, but they don't make it before the last team of our present heroes, which is Wonder Woman, Liberty Bell, Hourman, Black Lightning, and Damage, who are just having like normal people conversations, and it's really great. And once they arrive, they find Triplicate Girl, only to be attacked by robotic vines when the Legion and the rest of the teams come in to help fight. But it turns out that it was all an illusion created by Sensor Girl so that the Legion could escape and continue on with their mission. The Legion...
Tricked them.
Huh?
They tricked them. They pulled the wool down over their eyes.
Yep. All good. All good. The Legion all in position, plan to risk their lives to save a life of a fellow hero. But as they're doing this, they're confronted by the Leaguers and the Society. And they all find everyone but Karate Kid, who probably figured out through his powers of finding weaknesses in things and other I don't actually know how his powers work. I'm looking that up.
Yeah, just continue. Let's finish this story.
But he's the one who was struck by lightning, and somehow he survives it. And the hero and his family land there. So, and then all of the Legionnaires start to fade out, and they minus Starman, and they're launched back to the Fortress of Solitude, where a portal to their time is waiting. But once Karate Kid is about to enter the door, he's told he has to stay because, like Starman, his mission isn't over. And to learn who was saved by the Legion's efforts, you're going to have to read the Lightning Saga for yourself. And if it isn't the best possible outcome, I don't know what is.
I think this might be the first podcast where we don't mention him.
Well, Didio be damned, Dan. Just kidding. You do pretty good stuff, Didio. I know you don't listen to this, but you do pretty good stuff. You just have a very big love for the Silver Age. But anyway, in the aftermath, Superman visits Starman at the Sunshine Sanitarium on Starman's favorite day of the week, Wednesday, also known as Sloppy Joe Day. And they two talk over Sloppy Joe about what exactly this whole thing was about, and was there anything Superman could do to help? And Starman's like, no, you can't help. because which does get eventually explained, and he does eventually go help in a Action Comics run by Johns. And that's about it. They had a nice conversation in the sanitarium, but that's only about like I'd say a quarter of that issue, as the rest of the issue was about what was going on with Steel, well, Citizen Steel. Any thoughts on that, Dan?
It was alright. The story was alright. It wasn't like I'll ever go back and read it.
Yeah, no. It's a smaller piece of a bigger puzzle.
Yeah.
Which,
there was a lot,
no pun intended, of
time.
me being surrounded by a puzzle, because this ties into everything else that the Legion of Superheroes was doing. Like, Starman is in the present. He stays in the present because he's got to help them revive Superboy, Connor Kent.
Yeah, it was good. There's a lot of like cool character moments in it.
Yeah.
A lot of weird flirting. Like, everyone is like Jim Shooter horny.
Well, no, during this time there was a lot of like. When we look at the Justice League today, there's not a lot of fraternizing.
Yeah, it's not really. There's no like kind of slice of life issues. There's no like.
Yeah, there's no.
Just people talking.
There's a lot more camaraderie in this. Like, this is also dealing with a lot of the issues that come into play with the fact that of Hawkgirl and Hawkman, because at the time Hawkgirl was revived and she didn't want to believe that her love of her life was chosen for her, because she wasn't reincarnated the proper way. Like, okay, so Kendra Saunders, who's related to Shiera, who is her past life, they weren't always one soul. Like, Kendra had some problems and she kills herself, and her grandfather, who's related to Shiera, was watching over her when she was in the hospital, and then he saw her wake up, and the thing was, he noticed her eye color had changed, and that's how he knew that it wasn't Kendra anymore, but it was Shiera's soul in there. But something had happened, and Shiera didn't remember who she was, but she still firmly believed that she was Kendra.
I don't give a shit. That only makes me not care for these characters any more than I already did.
Yeah.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl are so fucking confusing and convoluted, and I will honestly give them up. I'll erase them. If I was the Anti-Monitor or someone with that type of power, I'd erase them. Or if I was Superboy Prime, I would punch them out of the universe.
Wait, Dan, wasn't Hawkman like the blacksmith of the multiverse in Dark Knight's Metal?
Yeah, something. God damn
I didn't read that. I haven't read that story yet, but God.
I hate Hawkman. Fuck. Sorry, I'm really getting...
when I was going back through Justice Society and JSA from the early 2000s and mid-90s, late 90s, it all started to make more sense to me. I'm like, oh, this isn't actually as convoluted as I thought.
Yeah, I don't care. He sucks. There's a really great...
confusing when you bring in Black Adam.
There's a really great 2-page spread with everyone just like chatting, which I love. Like, I love like these two teams just hanging out and like talking. Like, Superman and Jay Garrick are like, oh yeah. Superman says, and then he looks at her and says, "You're a Jinx." And Jay says, "Oh, that joke's older than me, Clark." Like, them joking. And then Sandman talking to Geoforce, and he's like, "Oh, your power has connection to the Earth." And he's like, "That's just how my powers are. It's nothing." He said, "Maybe, but to generate that high, you're approaching Alec Holland levels." And I love Swamp Thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of good moments in that one page. Like,
yeah.
There is one that I think is handled really well, and it shows a really supportive network for former drug addicts, between Our Man and Bredera.
Yeah, I like that they touch on like that. That's not something dropped, and like they believe in rehabilitation and stuff like that. Big fan of that.
I want to say, because I'm doing research for a class paper now, that I'm going to be talking about. I might talk about this drugs and comic books a little much, because I am doing research into it. So if you guys hear that, that's because of that.
Yeah, overall it's good. I love Starman now because of this.
Oh yeah, after reading this, I read a bunch of John's work with him, and that's how I know this is just one small piece of a big story, which it's a lot.
Yeah. All right. So, second story. Green Lanterns, Rage Planet.
Well, you got to talk. You haven't.
I will. I'm going to go through this first. Writer Sam Humphries, pencils Robin Roca, Jack Herbert, Neil Edwards, Ed Benz, Eduardo Panisca, Will Conrad, Jack Herbert, inks by Jay Leistein, Tom Palmer, Keith Champagne, Rob Hunter, Mark Irwin, Vincent Chaffentis, Mark Deering, Julio Ferreira, colorist Blonde Hi-Fi, letterer David Sharp, Travis Landman.
I want to say that's the first time we've ever gotten a first name wrong.
Which one?
You said Robin Roca instead of Robson.
Whoops. Robson Roca. Yeah. Whoops. Well, DC on the brain. Also, I really love the trend in colorists where they just have cool titles. Like
yeah,
Blonde
they
or
just
Hi-Fi.
got like names.
So Jessica Cruz.
I want to say that this is like my first real story of reading her. I knew nothing about this character before reading this.
Yeah, reading this was awesome. Like, this is the first Green Lantern book that I finished and was like, wow, that was fucking awesome. I really want to go read more Green Lantern. Before, normally I'll read Green Lantern and be like, oh yeah, that was cool. It's never it's holy shit.
It's been a few years since I was on a Green Lantern kick. I was on it very briefly. Jessica Cruz is a kind of complicated character. She's new. It really starts when she was on a hunting trip with her friends, and they ran across two men burying a body. Those two men hunted and killed most of her friends, and only she got away. That really made her anxiety a million times worse, and she didn't leave her apartment for 3 years. She got a ring from Power Ring, the Green Lantern of Earth 3, who is a bad guy, right after the Villains United event. Forever Evil.
Villains
United is a completely different thing.
Yeah. Forever Evil, where the Earth 3 Justice League comes and beats up I think of Villains United because the villains save the day.
It is similar. It is very similar, but they are very different things because a lot of the characters take different sides in that.
Yeah, so she gets this power ring that feeds on fear. It's not feeding on willpower, things like that, and it's taking advantage of her. But then she becomes the Green Lantern, quote unquote, as Power Ring, and eventually the ring gets destroyed during an event called Darkseid War, which we'll cover eventually. But then at the end of that battle, she actually gets a real Green Lantern ring because she showed great willpower. And here we are. This is her first solo series. There was a one-shot for Rebirth. So the story opens with Green Lantern Simon Batts, her partner, and Jessica Cruz reporting to a disturbance in Arizona. They were recently made to be the two Green Lanterns of Sector 2814, which is Earth, by Hal Jordan, who is off doing space stuff.
I just want to ask a question. Do you prefer Jessica Cruz with or without the headband?
The headband. I kind of like the headband.
Like, I'm looking, I couldn't remember if she had this headband thing. And I looked up what she looked like as Power Ring, and it's a very different suit.
Yeah, it's because the logo is completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, but she's also like wearing like this bulky like jacket thing.
Yeah, it's weird. But this costume, she has like a cool Green Lantern over her eye. But
Well, she
back
has
to the
that
story.
too in the Power Ring thing, the little butterfly symbol.
Yeah. So the tensions are running high between them because they have very, very different personalities, and they clash and they fight.
God, it was so great.
But they discover the disturbance is from a rage-filled human. So the issue is a little bit bigger than they thought first. The person has a Red Lantern symbol painted on their chest in blood. And they find like an alien carcass and a bunch of dead bodies, and they're like, uh-oh, this is not good. So they're talking to the police, who tell them to find a real Green Lantern to help. But then everyone in the area starts turning to these like rage. I'm calling them rage zombies just because they're blinded by their rage.
Yeah,
They just want to fight.
I see that you wrote the word ragified.
Yeah, ragified. But then as soon as that starts happening, there's this explosion, and the skies are blood red, and there's this hell tower made of bones.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, what in the devil may cry is going on here?
Yeah, so then Argus shows up. Argus is a government organization that deals with this kind of shit, and they tell them to leave, essentially. So we cut to a scene where Jess is out shopping with her sister, which is a super positive step for her because she was barely able to leave the house in recent... She was locked in her house for 3 years, and her sister's been doing everything she can.
She was agoraphobic for a while.
Yeah. So it turns out the Red Lanterns are staging a hell tower on Earth to make it their new home. They got shafted recently. Like they're on like their last limb right now, and they're making a play for a new Red Dawn on Earth. But the store gets taken over by the rage zombies, and even Jess's sister is taken, which is hard for her. But then Simon shows up to help because he knows Jess can barely make... She can't even make a construct with her ring. She doesn't know how to use her ring. And as her sister attacks her, we get this flashback with her and Jess kind of talking to the ring and trying to figure out how to use it. And she learns how to fly, but it shows there's a super tight connection between these two, and her sister wants her to get better. Like, her sister wants to help her be able to face her fears.
Yeah, that was a very touching moment. I really like her sister.
Yeah.
I really like the whole notions of family in this storyline.
Oh, yeah. I am skipping over some of the Simon Baz stuff because I do want to do an episode on him because I really like him too.
Oh, wait, are we not going to talk about what he gets halfway through the story and he carries through the whole thing?
Yeah, I'm leaving out a good amount of this stuff because I really want people to go and read this story. But Atrocitus and Bleeze arrive on Earth. He's the leader of the Red Lantern, and she is his right-hand man. Simon actually cures her of her rage in a fight. Like, he uses his power to just make her not angry for a minute. But then Jess interferes, and Bleeze just goes right back to being outraged. They get into a big argument over that, and then they go to the Hell Tower to see that everything's taken a turn for the worst. Jess gets all ragified, and Simon and her have to fight. Basically, they get into this brawl. They fall into the Hell Tower itself. And as they're trading blows, Simon realizes that this isn't the way to do it. He starts to realize that instead of belittling and mocking her as he's done so far, he should actually try to help her build herself up because she's going through a lot of shit. And he's like, oh man, I've been kind of a dick. And he has to believe in her. He's got to have faith in his partner. He starts to have faith in her, and she gets quote-unquote cured as both of their power rings run out of energy. And then there's this beautiful page of them recharging their rings on the one Green Lantern they have, where they recite the oath and everything. Hal Jordan only gave them one lantern because he wanted them to work as partners. Hal Jordan is a dick, but also smart AF.
Well, when it comes to being a dick.
Yeah, but he made them work together because he was like, oh, I need this power battery, and she has it. But yeah, it's a really kind of touching moment. He's like, oh shit, I have to believe in my partner, not like be an asshole all the time. Like, she's going through shit like I'm going through shit. He deals with a lot of racism and prejudice. I'll go I really want to do an episode on him because it's good
let's
stuff.
Let's just say real quick why.
He's Muslim, and he's been dealing with that. We've seen a lot of him being thrown into... He got put in Guantanamo Bay. Like, there's a lot of really fucked up shit that happens to him, and he's working through that.
His main thing is he's trying to overcome it for himself and his family.
Yeah.
Like, I think... Can I just talk about it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so after one of the mobs of ragified people, as Dan would put it, they're in a store. He gets to the store where Jess and her sister are, and he finds a teddy bear, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be great for my nephew for his birthday," and it's just very touching. He carries it throughout the entire thing until he loses it.
So at one point, Bleeze tries to ragify him. And I have the page up right now because I'm just going to read a little bit of it. I feel rage for my nephew, Farid. He already feels like a bad American because he is Muslim. He doesn't understand. I feel rage for my sister, Sira. All the harassment people give her. The best person I know. My inspiration. It's a really powerful page, and he fights through that because his strength is his family, his inspiration, his want to stop this type of prejudice. It's written very well, and not in like a demeaning way or anything like that. It's really what fuels him, and it's a really cool section. But back to the Hell Tower. Atrocitus sends Dexstar, his cat. He has a Red Lantern cat.
He's good.
Down into the tower. Yeah, there's a really good one shot with him. But he sends the cat down into the tower to plant this seed, which we don't see anymore until the end. And all the Red Lanterns are like gathering around to fight, and Jessica takes on the quote claymation rejects.
Yeah,
her and Simon rip on these people.
I love the way that I actually screenshotted this page, and she's like, "Some of these guys are terrifying. Some of these look like garbage married, like garbage married a bad joke." And then Simon mentally says all of their names, and then she's like, "Angry Goat Dude, Mr. Potato Head on drugs, Grumpy Computer, Ugly Christmas Tree Gore."
So they start to fight, and Simon gets a vision of the future, which he has with his Emerald Sight, and he goes after Atrocitus. He's like, "I'm going to try the same thing I did with Bleeze and cure him." At one point, he punches him, and he calls him Red Lobster, which is awesome. He tries, and it fails horribly. Atrocitus is like, "Yo, I'm made of this stuff. Like, this is who I am. The rage isn't inside me. I am rage." But Jessica is fighting all these people, and she can't make a construct, and they're like, "Oh, we thought you were a real Green Lantern." And she's just like, she can't breathe, and she starts to have a panic attack and just flees.
I thought that was one of the
hides.
most interesting parts of the story. Like, this isn't something you see. I mean, we kind of saw that with Tom in the last story. Like, he was panicking after he got the vision of the man he killed.
Yeah, they don't outright say that she's having a panic attack, but knowing the signs of something like that,
yeah, she's clearly
the way it's written, yeah, she's
not okay.
Can't breathe, and she's hiding, and she's like, "Fuck, I can't do this. And she's battling her anxiety.
Yeah, there's a back and forth in her head. It's so interesting.
So I wrote that down. I'm going to read it. Jess is battling anxiety in her thoughts about her past trauma and how she feels inadequate, but then she starts to think. This is an exact quote. I had to put it in here because this is not something you usually see in superhero comics, and it was really cool as someone who deals with anxiety and all that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, there's a fucking hero that does this too. This is your fear talking. You are not your fears. Your fears can't hurt you. They are your thoughts and feelings. You don't have to own them. They're not who you are. You're stronger than that. And you're better than that. And bam, my fucking girl makes a construct. Her construct blows up the Hell Tower. She comes back from hiding and is ready to save her partner. And when she comes back and she's like, "What's up, bitches?" The Red Lantern's just like, "All right, see ya." And they fly off. And Simon's like, "Oh, I guess we're not that intimidating. I better talk to Batman to get some lessons." And they hug. Like, they hug because they're partners now. They're not at each other's
Can I
throats
say what
constantly.
she found?
What'd she find?
She found the goddamn teddy bear.
Oh, so earlier Simon
I already said
took that teddy bear for his nephew.
I
Yeah.
already said that.
So now they're talking and they're just like talking about family and stuff, and they realize they're so much alike. The story ends with Atrocitus.
Well,
talking.
they go meet each other's families first.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like they go and meet each other's families. At one point, they talk about inviting each other over for dinner. It's real nice. Turns out Atrocitus. How do you say his name? Is it Atrocitus or Atrocious?
Atrocitus, like atrocity.
Atrocitus.
Yeah, you really need to watch the Green Lantern animated series.
Yeah, I
it's actually really good.
So it turns out that Dexter completed his mission, and there is a new Red Lantern entity growing inside the Earth.
The Butcher.
And I wrote, dun, 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 dun. It's not the Butcher. The Butcher's dead.
Well, I mean, it's still going to be called the Butcher, I think.
So it's growing in Earth. Yeah, this story, I am so fucking angry at myself for sleeping on it when it came out, because this is awesome.
Oh, yeah, no. I didn't know jack shit about these two characters. And I was like, these two are amazing. But then again, I trust Humphreys. Especially after reading his short Nightwing run, which I told you about. As I was reading that, I was telling you, oh my god, this is so awesome.
Yeah. I honestly want to say Jessica Cruz may have just jumped to my top of the list for my favorite Green Lantern.
Oh, like, yeah, she's up there now. She's up there. He's up there.
And now she's in Justice League Odyssey, which is like a space book. But yeah, I really hope she sticks around. I hope she stays like in the spotlight. I hope because like Morrison took Hal, and there's not really been a ton of other Green Lantern stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I want to know of course, I think the only three characters that were being written about up until more recently were Jess in Odyssey, Hal in Green Lantern, and Kyle in Titans. And Titans got canceled. Yeah,
and Kyle's nowhere to be seen. But we do have a couple questions that, if we keep talking, we are going to answer. But I honestly think the verdict is go buy this fucking book.
Yeah.
Or read it on the DC Universe app.
Yeah. No, this was so much fun to read. As much as I really, really love Starman as a character, this Lightning Saga wasn't really the story for him. But if there's one character that you really love that I talk about a lot and I think should be the main, you should go read that too, because that's really important to that mythos.
Yeah. So a couple questions. These two come from my friend Near. I met him on the X-Men Discord. What would you like to see happen with Jessica in the future? I want to see her fucking at the forefront. I want to see her in her own book. I want to see a lot more of her.
I only actually read these today, and I was really enjoying them. But I don't really want to see any one Green Lantern take center stage. I want it to be kind of like an ongoing series, but like every like story arc follows a different one of them.
Oh, that would be cool.
All these characters have such strong personalities. Like they're so distinct and apart from each other. Where a lot of legacy characters are like sometimes they're like carbon copies, or they're heavily influenced by their legacy.
So his second question is actually, do you think that Jess can stand out between all the other Lanterns? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no. Like I just said, they all have such strong personalities. I think out of all of them...
Most of them are like pig-headed, stubborn, straightforward.
Yeah, no, Pal and Guy are very pig-headed. John is very... He's very strong-willed, but at times he can be very stoic.
Yeah.
And I feel like out of all of them in more recent times, he's the one... I mean, Kyle is very different, but I think John has been falling behind and being able to take like the center because of that like stoicness. Like, even though he's a great character, like, I mean, they're all great characters.
Yeah. So our second question comes from Harry, another one of my friends from another server.
You wrote
Harry,
who stands Catman in Secret Six, which is the right thing to do, and if you don't do those things, then you're wrong.
Yeah, I think his actual Twitter name is We Stands Catman, something like that.
Dude, Catman is great.
Yeah, Harry's awesome. Jess is still a new character and has only really been tackled by a handful of writers. Is there anyone we'd like to see her written by?
Ooh, that's a good question. See, I would like to see more Humphreys writing for her. I can say definitively I don't want Tom King to write her.
Yeah, because he'll make her sad.
Yeah, that'll
makes me sad.
He's gonna kill her. He's gonna fake her death, bring her back later.
My answer is I really want her to be in Grant Morrison's run because I'd love to see his take, and I'd like to see her partner up with Hal because they're very, very different personalities.
See, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that because the way we saw Simon like treating her like she's a new person, like, oh, I don't really believe in you. Hal will do that a lot worse.
Yeah, Hal's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that
I want to see
or try to sleep with her. I will say what I don't want to see her out of her anymore is they tried. Was it who was writing Justice League at the time? Was it still Johns? I don't want to see her because they were trying. Someone was trying to push a relationship between her and Barry Allen. Yeah, I don't think that pairing works at all.
We have a third question from a friend of the show, another podcast called The Phantom Zone. Where's Simon Baz? And my answer is at TBHIDK. Sorry, he's out there somewhere.
I like to think he's hanging out with his family.
Yeah, he's probably doing normal guy stuff.
Playing with his nephew, good uncle stuff.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Our next episode is actually going to be.
Wait. I think you just need to say it.
What?
I think you need to say it.
What the next episode is?
No, say the word. Say it.
Shazam.
No.
Am I supposed to yell it?
Yes.
Yo, generally fuck my neighbors. Shazam! Wow, my audacity went so high. I'm gonna get Mike to put like a lightning bolt in that.
Good.
Yeah, but our next episode is actually our first crossover, so look for that. There'll be information on all of our social medias, which we have our website at supersonspod.com. Check it the fuck out. Eventually, we'll get on our social media game.
Yeah, maybe eventually I'll start adding stuff to the Instagram, like you told me to.
Yeah. I only have so many hours in my day to network, do the website, Twitter, and my actual job.
Can't we just connect them all? So we post
but we want original content. So, that's all. That's all we got this week. See you in 2 weeks, everybody. And honestly, pick up this movie because Bruce Timm sometimes is great, especially with this generation.
Mm-hmm. Except for that one movie. We don't talk about that one movie.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right.
We out.
That's it. We out.